Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining Crystal and Misha Does Reality Reviews. Apparently, Misha put on her mask. She didn't tell me she was putting on her mask, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do her. I'm gonna get her.
I'm
So,
protecting myself from the dusty.
okay, I'm protecting myself from the don't want to travel the travel to want to travel to San Antonio's. Let's
There was a
go.
lot of dust last night, and I had to take some Benadryl to.
Take all the Benadryl. You taking it for the wrong one. I think you're taking it for the wrong one. I'll tell you who the dusty is. The one that wanted when I talk about want to travel to Switzerland and he says San Antonio. That's the dusty. Anyway, let's get it going, Mish. You think you click up in here. I love it.
God, let's just start with Ryan and Brett, the most boring. Like, why not?
Okay, I'll go.
What did you think about him taking all his stuff out the place and not saying nothing?
I think it's the cowardice. I think it's par for the course. He is a coward. He needs her to accept his half-ass apology. He
Mm.
is somebody that he's like, thank you for not hating me. What? And she's like, anytime, meaning just go, just go. And honestly, she conducted herself the right way in this situation. Just like, you know what? You're not worth my time. Just like in her letter, she said, not everybody is worth you being nice to, or something like that in her letter. I was like, no, not everybody deserves your consideration. And she said, I'm not going to give him, I'm going to give him only the same amount of time he gave me, very little. And and he said, well, none of this was your fault. And she said, you're right, it wasn't. She was not letting him let up, and I appreciated that. She wasn't rude or disrespectful because that's just not her, but she was very much just like, go. And even like, he's like, oh, I just came to pick up the last bit of stuff, and she said, did you leave anything? Like, what are you even doing here? And to me, the fact that she came back, he knew that he messed up, and that was, he just took the coward's way, and he was like, I better just clean out my stuff and just go. He does a lot of talking to everybody else except for her,
Mm.
and that was just cowardice. And he's just a coward. Like, he just doesn't know how to talk. And then talking to his friend, he was like, I can remember every previous relationship, and I can pinpoint when it went wrong. And his friend was trying to defend him, and he said, no, a lot of it was me. Some of them were me. And I said, and this was you. He wasn't her type either. He wasn't her type either.
Right.
But at least she tried. At least she tried. And the fact is, he didn't even try. He's a coward. Just kick rocks. Just take your stuff and go. Just take your stuff in your half-ass apology. Mm,
Mm-mm.
I'm so glad I'm done with. I'm so glad. I'm so glad he was just ugh. He's just disgusting. And then, you know, he likes to coast over the dating app thing. I re-downloaded a dating app prematurely, and he said, I know that that was disrespectful, but he talks like this because and I think he needs a lot of counseling. And I don't
Yeah.
think this is not
Need
uh,
some antidepressants too.
antidepressants. I don't think this is grief counseling. I don't think this is grief. Totally. I don't think this is grief. I think,
Hmm.
from his friend passing away, that there is more to this. And
Hmm.
honestly, this is he is addicted to the dating apps, as you were saying last week. He is somebody else called it last night, bitch assness. I definitely agree. I'm sorry. I might be cussing a lot during this one. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely this he needs a lot of help that has nothing to do with grief. He just needs some personality counseling, coaching, personality coaching. He's a lot. He's a lot. Let's get it.
Yeah, I agree. I, you know what? This is why I don't watch other people's stuff before I come on here. But I was watching Auntie, and she made a great point that what is her name? Brett. She was kind of passive in it. Yes, she tried, but she still didn't speak up when things were wrong. There was a lot of things she waited for him to say something. Well, if he's not going to say anything, then I'm not going to do anything type of thing. And I agree. I also want to say that when she actually did get those balls back and got that tone in her voice with him, like his friends told her, you know, you need to yank his chain or whatever they were saying, hold him accountable and make him blah, blah, blah. Like she did that. And you saw at the retreat, he said, "You're making a scene." So I think his friends, I think they know what he needs, but that's not necessarily what he wants. I don't think he wants someone to hold him accountable. I don't think he wants to be accountable. I think he, like his sister said, like if you call him out, he's just going to lie to kind of get out of it. So I definitely think there's some character issues there with him, and yeah, he just needs some good old therapy, counseling, maybe a couple prescriptions or something will get him back on track, because I just think like in Brett's defense, she's tried everything. She's been the passive girl, she's been the assertive girl, and she really is not getting anywhere with him. And this is really all over some semi-permanent red hair, and it's stupid. It's just so
It's
stupid.
stupid.
But I just, yeah, I'm over it.
I will agree that, and I think that she fell into that mold because she wanted to change it. She wanted to move past it. She wanted to do more than kissing, but she fell into that homeboy, homegirl mode, and they were like, what do you call it, smacking hands, and like if this was a sporting event or something like that, that they were just like friends or
Mhm.
roommates, basically. Yes, they did fall into that, but she wanted to change it up. She wanted to do more, and he had never gotten there. He had never gotten there, and when she tried to get there, he thought it was causing a scene. But i I do agree that she was really kind she was kind of laxed in it in the beginning, but she
Mhm.
definitely tried everything. She tried doing things that he liked. She was like, that's not my cup of tea, but I'll try it at least once.
She made
And
a
that's
fool out of
another thing.
herself trying to run, couldn't run up the
Right.
thing and jump up, but she that girl tried. Okay.
And this is another thing. Going back to him, where was she all up in arms? Where was she having all these anxiety? Where she never was all excitable and all these things that he kept saying.
I said this in Kimberly review, her live last night. He's very much giving me Tyrone energy from Ready to Love.
Yes.
When Tyrone told Carrie, "You were over there making a face when I gave another girl my phone number," and she's like, "What are you talking about? You
Yeah.
totally misread that." So I think because there's that maybe he got some PTSD too. I think because there's that disconnect with people, he makes these assumptions and he goes with what's in his head, but that's not really reality because he's not connecting with people. He's not getting to know people to know that probably wouldn't upset her. That probably doesn't bother her. So I think her knowing how Brett was kind of in the beginning, I'm not like dismissing it. I'm just saying maybe she thought it was flirty to be like, "Oh, I'm scared. Let me grab your arm." But if you don't like her like that, if somebody you don't like is grabbing your arm, you're going to think it's more than what it is. I don't know.
I think that
Maybe she was on 20. I don't know. But
the first week, I think you're right. He made a lot of assumptions on her character that had no basis. And really, it was the first week, and he needed to just relax, and he never did. And
Mhm.
really, you're right. If he wanted her to change her hair, like, have you he could have even asked her about the hair and been like, have you ever tried going brown? Like, I know that that's not your natural color, let me see some other pictures of you, something. But the fact that he did it this way, I just don't respect that. I don't respect him. I don't respect the way he did that. The way he handled it was, like Layla said last night, bitch assness. Anyway, let's
Yeah.
move on. We spent enough time on what do you call it? Just the struggle, the face, the sunken face. That we've spent enough time. Go ahead.
Let's get into Johnny and Bao. What do you think?
Oh Lord, yeah, let's tackle them now. Um, Bow, just because your mother stuck it out for 55 years doesn't mean you have to. Don't do this to yourself. This is what we on CMK we called struggle love. This man literally said to you, I would have rather have been with anybody else but you. He
Mhm.
literally said that in front of you, sitting right next to you, anybody else but Bow. And you still are in this. I can see where this could work. I can envision um you and I working for long term. And I'm like, wow, so you can see just dodging bullets from this man for however long he until he gets his own help, because that's what happened. Her father had PTSD. He was an alcoholic. He got help, but Johnny doesn't have any of those specific issues. Do you understand my point? Like,
Mhm.
those are diagnoses that somebody can treat. Johnny doesn't have. Johnny's just an a hole. Johnny has issues from his parents and his father and all of those other things, but those are things that, like, those that's a tangible thing that your mother had to deal with, and she said that she could understand that and stick it out. This is no this is Johnny doesn't have those excuses to fall back on. Girl, just get out while you can. Let this be a lesson to you and a lesson to him to move on. And then um what's there's two things. What's interesting is her showing up in that dress, very pretty shoes, all of those things. Why? So he can ogle at you and be like, "Oh my gosh, look at
Mhm.
Bow," and all of these things. And then the camera, the end shot where they go to their separate corners. But I was like, the camera's trying to play like that this is that they might sleep together again, because I feel like this is almost like looked very similar to the same outfits they were wearing when they did sleep together. And I said, y'all stop doing that. And I said, Val, now the second thing, the second thing is uh somebody said to me last night that, Crystal, what if Bao is playing him? What if Bao is trying to give him something to look at, treat him all this way to build him up, and then tomorrow or the next week she's gonna be like, "Psych, no, I say no on decision day. You've treated me like crap. I don't want to have anything to do with you." So I'm very interested in seeing that. If that is what the case, that is very interesting, because uh she was actually speaking, she was one of the only people speaking some sense at the little, pool game. She's like, if we divorce, then that's it. I'm not going to like hang out with him afterwards and like at the possibility of getting remarried. Um so I said, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought. So that's just that would be very interesting. And also, a lot of people were saying, the fact is, Sarah said that she was like this. She's a man eater years ago. Like, she was a man eater. She's telling Johnny all of these things. Sarah was telling Johnny all these things. She admitted, I didn't act the best in my previous relationships. One, I think Johnny is a woman eater. I think that he really tried to break her down, but at the same time, she had a lot of issues. Bao is not perfect. Uh, and here's the thing, I almost wish he did kind of, I don't know, let me take this back. The way he treated her, he said it started during the honeymoon, that there were just a lot of little things. And we said the not showering. Okay, there's a lot of little things that he's seeing that he doesn't like. But instead of trying to do something about it, he said he just would get in an uproar, get angry, start these fights, and walk away. So I just think that he's also handled this in the wrong way. And this struggle face of his, this constant stressed out face of his was so annoying all night. Oh, I got a lot of thinking to do. Oh, I got a lot of thinking to do. Oh, oh, I got a lot of thinking to do. Bao just said that if that's it, then that's it. Oh, I got a lot of thinking to do. Oh, I was just like, shut up. Stop it. That's all I have for now. I might think of something later. Go ahead, Misha.
He did that all night. Like, I think that's all he really said. Like, every time, that's all he said, except for when he was at the little couples get together. He might have said 3 or 4 more words, but that's all we got from him this episode. I agree. I noticed Bao was she was going out of her way to look cute this episode. Her hair was curled and done up in every single scene. I was like, what is she going to prom? Is it homecoming? Like, what is going on? But okay, Bao. And I noticed Johnny was looking. He was making more attempts to smile at her whenever they would make eye contact. I was like, here he go. He gonna start and try to open that door up back in again. And I'm like, no, like don't do that. And Bao, Bao, okay. I'm just going to jump into it. So we don't want to believe this whole Bao and Zach thing, but why was she pressing Zach so hard on this whole? Well, that doesn't make sense. Well, to me, it seems like if you're going to say no on decision day, but still try to work things out, that's kind of like you're just wanting Michaela to the side. And I'm like, Bao, what does it matter? Like, what is that? So I feel like that's a cue, a clue, uh, a little
A light bulb?
ray of sunshine
But they
that
didn't. They
she
dated afterwards, right? They've been dating after the shooting, after this is all done.
that's what people are saying, but I'm like, she seemed like she had her eye on him like since that retreat. When she saw him, her eyes were glued to Michaela, throwing her whole life away, trying to stop him from leaving. And then now this episode, she's like questioning him. I'm like, you didn't even question Johnny. You're not even trying to get clarity from Johnny, from his like state of mind and what he's gonna say. But you sitting here questioning Zach, and I'm like,
Because Zach is the one that's so confusion. Zach is confusion. He
but
speaks
that's not her
confusion.
man. That like you supposed to be deciding if you're going to get a divorce. And why are you worried about somebody else's divorce? So and Bao was a thinker. Bao, she gets in her head and she won't stop. So I really think I'm kind of believing these balance act rumors, and I think she had it in for him for some time, because it just made no sense to me why she was up in roar about him and Michaela on decision day, and she was like trying to make sense of it. It's like, for what though? So
I don't. I'm not
right.
gonna. I listen. Honestly, if Bao found somebody better than Johnny, more power to her. She needs to move on from Johnny. And I agree with you, Monique, that Johnny is balding, and he need to find out what he's about to do with that George Jefferson of his, and stop berating women. And I think that this is why he's been on 111 dates, because he'll nitpick women to death. I think that he is a woman eater. And I think that Yeah, this whole Bow and Johnny. Bow, why do you want to keep after? I said, listen. So, what's your prediction? Let's do predictions. We just talked about Brett and Ryan. We know that that's a no, right? We know that's a no. Uh,
um,
yeah,
I
his that bald spot is working overtime. His comb over is working overtime.
I think Johnny and Bao, I think they're gonna say yes. I think um I think Johnny kind of has that thing like it's weird because we see Johnny like purposely try to bring her down, purposely say things like I wasn't attracted to you in college and all like he's so vindictive in what he does, but at the same time he doesn't want to break up with her because that's going to hurt her feelings. I'm like, what do you think you're doing here this whole entire relationship? And the fact, and I just want Bao to wake up because it should not be that hard of a decision, in my opinion, because Bao, you saw your mother was miserable. So it's like, why do you want to repeat her footsteps and repeat what she did? Why do you want to stick with that recipe? Like, yes, that's what you saw, but at what point do you say, my childhood was traumatic enough? I don't need to bring someone else into that or repeat that. So I just think they both need to go their separate ways, but I feel like they're going to say yes on decision day. I don't think they're going to stay married. I think they'll probably get divorced a week later, but I think they'll both say yes because Bao is caught up in the struggle of Johnny. He is just, he's weird. Like, it's like I don't know if he likes like putting her down, if that makes him feel more powerful or more control. I don't know, but it's like, why I don't understand why he thinks saying no is gonna hurt her feelings so bad. Like he hasn't done that this past 8 weeks already.
Right.
So
And I also think that Johnny is, well, his facial expressions could be totally lying, but he's starting to realize, oh, wait a minute, it is me. I am crazy and I do need some help that has nothing. He's like, I got daddy issues. I got daddy issues. I got to admit it. I got daddy issues. Well, like, yes, you need severe counseling. You need a lot of help. This has nothing to do with Bao, and you've treated her like crap. So I think that he is even talking to his friends, his groomsmen. His groomsmen said it. His parents said it at their birthday party. They've all said, things aren't perfect. You need to work on yourself. So I think that he's starting to realize if they say yes on decision day, which I don't think, I think mm, they're so up in the air. You might be right that they may say yes. They're not going to stay together though. He's got
or
too much
they're
of a
gonna have
psychosis.
that Chris and Paige moment where they sit there for 6 hours deliberating just to say no.
Girl,
So
I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it if that happens. But you're right; they would be the ones to do that to us, and it'd be 11 o'clock at night, and nobody's made a decision, and Johnny's like, "You want to leave together? Let's just leave. Let's just go. Let's just go." And then she comes and she's like, I made a decision when I first walked in here." So that's gonna be funny if that does happen. Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
so let's get into Michaela and Zach. First of all, I watched Janice Hilton's video, and she was like, "Does Michaela live in the projects? Why does she have 4 locks on her door? Why does she have?" And I was like, "That is true. Like for her to be a realtor, why is she living like that?"
Yeah,
And
I wish
it
Janice
was
was in here.
like but it was like her and her sister were sitting there, and you could see the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom all in one shot. And I was like, damn, what did
No,
she
no.
what, does she sell houses? What exactly is she selling?
The first thing I said was, "Where does Michaela live? Isn't she a real estate agent? Like she lives in a 4-story walk up. Her, she." she lives in one of those apartments that you that go around like this, and the door is on the outside. Like I
Mhm.
was like, where does she live? I said, Michaela, no, this was not. This was a very old, rundown, decrepit apartment. When y'all look at it again, and you could see the outside, like you have to walk up, and people like it's enclosed, one of those enclosed apartments. Ooh, that's exactly what I thought. I wish Janice was in here. I was like, where does Michaela live? Michaela could buy one of these. She could buy a townhome. Like, really?
Not four locks on the door. Like, what kind of neighborhood was that?
I'm telling you exactly. She had four locks on the door. You know how you have to walk up, and people can see you walking up. The stairs are open, and then
Mhm.
it's like one of those apartments in California. Like they're just like, oh my gosh, where the hell am I at? That's exactly what I thought. I said, where does Michaela live? What is happening? No, I look, when y'all look at it again, and her door is purple, and it's like one of the open railings. The stairs are on open railings. I was like, yeah,
Whew.
mm-mm.
I don't. I
So
feel like we didn't get much out of them this episode. I
we just got a
mean,
lot of confusion again. Michaela
right.
defended Zach at the pool party, when they were shooting pool, um, and she said, which was interesting, because she did not want to follow what he was saying, because she would have been humiliated if she got divorced and then still dated him, and now she understands. So I was like, Michaela, see, first of all, Zach, if you keep pulling this girl's string, she's another one that needs a lot of counseling. You keep pulling her string, and she doesn't get the counseling that she needs. She's not gonna. She's gonna. You're gonna have a lot of blowups for another year, of blowups, of ups and downs, of just an emotional roller coaster. And and then finally, if she is in a lot of counseling, then it's going to start to work, and then you guys can start to find some like light at the end of the tunnel. The smoke will clear, but it's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be overnight once the cameras are gone. So stop thinking that, oh, as soon as we get divorced and the cameras are gone, everything's going to be perfect, because it's not. Because remember, she was sitting there with her sister, and her sister was one of the smart ones. Her sister said, Zach, I don't know what if Zach knows what he wants. I don't know what Zach is thinking. What the heck does he want? And what does he want with my sister? Or what kind of marriage does he want? Um, but they said, well, as soon as the cameras were gone and we just had a great conversation. Michaela, so now you're on his side about the staying together? This is crazy.
Cause she had the dingling and the thing was dinging. So I feel like now she's back calm like that. But here's the thing: she only stays stigmatized for so long, so it's gonna wear off, and then she gonna be back to Hurricane K. So I think this episode she was calm, she was collected, but I think Zach is using her. He just want to keep that door open so he can come and hit it whenever he feel like it. So yeah, I think the sister caught on to that. Like he just wants to keep that door open with
Right.
you, because that bow caught on to that, because I think she was low key trying to peep for herself. What does Zach really want? What is he really into? Because she looking at him too. So I think Zach, like, was it Shindy? He's just reciting the same story. So yeah, it was like nothing new. And I was like, when they were at that couples gathering and Bao was going in, I'm like, Michaela, Zach, please don't let this turn into another argument. You claim you're on the same page. Don't let this little conversation derail you. So we gotta watch another fight. But that's all I have for them. Let's just go into Rachel and Jose. I'll let you go.
So I wanted, so this was the ultimate compromise. She said, I would like to take a trip every other year. And I'm
Hold
talking
on. I'm sorry, before we get
9 hour
into
flight.
that,
Go ahead.
can we talk about this bullet? This taking the bullet. When Rachel asked Jose, "Would you take a bullet for me?" He said yes, and then she said, "I would too." And I was looking like y'all are faker than I don't know what, but
I
okay.
almost think, see, there's some things, and y'all, and Misha knows this, there's some things that I don't even pay attention to when couples do that, or because I'm like, y'all just, this was on the honeymoon that happened. I was like, y'all are just playing for the camera. I said, that's silly. Just like Gil saying he wants, what, 8 or 9 kids or whatever. I said, that I just passed that right by. I said, that woman ain't having 8 or 9 kids. She said 2 kids. She said that at the wedding reception. She said that when y'all first talked, and that's it. So I didn't even listen to him. So I was like, I'm not even listening to that. And then, would you take a bullet for me? I would take a bullet for you too. I said, shut up. So I didn't even remember it. The sad thing is, because I was like, this is stupid. I said, this is just stupid. But now I do want to get into
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, this. I want to go to Switzerland. I want to go to Switzerland, and she's like, I'm talking about 8 or 9 flights. Like, she got specific. And he said, well, I told you we can go to San Antonio and we're going to take a trip to Vegas together. And I said, oh my gosh, this woman just said, this man does not listen to me. And she said, with one sentence, I'm defeated, I'm deflated. I said, Jose, that is something like that really gives her, like really excites her, that really gives her life, taking trips and seeing other cultures, seeing other nationalities. That's something that she really wants. In a year and a half, you can rebuild your money. And see, to me, and this whole conversation about the Dusty, I almost think he's more the Dusty because you got the money. You got the money. You have him, and the one that we're about to talk about next work from a mindset of lack. I don't have. I lack this. Um, of work from a scarcity mindset. So when you have a scarcity mindset and you are saying how much you love your wife or you love this woman, but you have the money and you just don't even want to listen, and then you start to turn the conversation around to her, or sorry, you turn the conversation around to yourself and say, in my family we didn't grow up with much, we didn't grow up with a lot of money. Yes, in comparison to her, you did grow up with a lot of money. You did do well for yourself. You got your whiteboard. You will have time to rebuild that money. And Switzerland, if you go now, or if you go in a year and a half, she's saying every other year, you will have time to, earn, you'll have a chance to build that money back up. And the fact that you're constantly working from a mind space of lacking, of scarcity, and you won't even consider, this is what gives my wife pleasure, this is something that feeds her soul, and you won't even consider it, you're not even listening to her. That to me is not just listening, but that to me is, honestly, there is, and that's why I'm doing a show on this is that the Dusty mentality, to me, I'm like, is there a man that's totally Dusty, or a Dusty mentality where he just does not, he's not listening to others, he doesn't care, because he's got the money but he wants to hold it close to the belt, and he doesn't want to do anything with it. I've worked so hard to do everything I can to have money, but then you just, what are you gonna hide it under your mattress? If something happens to you tomorrow, mm, it's gonna be sitting right there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have you've never had any experiences. This man said, I want to go to San Antonio. Let's go to Pigeon Forge or wherever. Let's go up the street. And I was in the Maria show last night, and Auntie was saying, well, maybe and that's what you were saying earlier. It's got to be something else. Maybe he's afraid to fly. To me, if I had a fear like afraid to fly or swim or something like that, That is something that I would tell my husband. Just like Brett, the first night, she said, I'm not a great flyer. She said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get in that plane. I'm going to do it. She said, I'm not, I'm not great at flying. But this is somebody that you have said that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Why wouldn't, and I don't want to hear that because he's a man and he's trying to be macho, because that's something I would need to know. Because if I do need to hold your hand, or being the woman in your life, let me get your Dramamine. Let me make sure that you got something to knock your butt out for a couple hours. I got you on that. I'm here for you. So to me, I think that that's not a good enough thing that's holding him back. There's got to be something else, or he just doesn't have he thinks that, or it's just that he's just working from a mindset of I don't have, of lacking, of um Switzerland's too expensive. He doesn't want to, because in his mind. I don't think that he's deserving of it. He thinks that he doesn't deserve it because he's worked hard for everything he's got. So he thinks that he needs to be living in a 8-room mansion or something like that to have a mindset of I can travel. And that's not true. That's not true. So, and that's one thing. Second thing, he basically, and this is another thing, people keep going back and forth about the definition of gaslighting. Um, Excuse me, you told your friend that she left you? They replay that scene 50, 11 times. How many times did you told her, get the F out? He said it 3 times, and then he said, bounce. And then he said, I will throw this ring at you. This man cussed her clean out. She didn't leave you. She didn't leave you. And yes, two wrongs don't make a right. But I'm sorry. You acted like she was so in the wrong. She did everything wrong, and that you have been treated badly, and that, oh, poor Jose. You did this poor Jose thing to your friend. You, oh my gosh. Yeah, that annoyed me too. I think that he was gaslighting her and making her sound like a big slut when he's the one that treated her like crap. So that's a lot. I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said in Kimberly reviews last night, I was like, I think he has some sort of phobia. I just sense fear. And I don't know if it was fear of flying for like a long period of time, or if it was fear of being broke or being in debt again. And I understand that. So I get it, but at the same time, I don't, yeah. And then the whole single thing that Winter said, like, he said that's something single people are supposed to do. I'm like, you weren't that single long ago, and y'all just got married. Like, y'all not 85 yet. Like, y'all can travel and do so. Yeah, I think there's fear. I sense fear. It's like his whole body language, his face changed when she started talking about the trip. And so I think there's something there. Maybe what he put on that whiteboard is not really there. I don't know. But then I don't think that, when when all the couples were together, he looked at Merla's shoes and he said those are some sexy shoes. And Gil can't even compliment Merla like that because he's so insecure, but we'll get to that later. But he the fact so that kind of makes me think like he's used it's not money, but I don't know. I think it's fear. It's some type of fear, but I think the fact that he can compliment Merla says a little something, I would think, about his confidence or about his spendings. Like, he knows what quality shoes or things are. So I just, yeah, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think, I think I agree with Rachel. How many times, like, how long can I put up with this? How long can, like, sorry. Here's the thing. So, the pride thing, like I said to you, he couldn't even apologize for Rachel when he was clearly wrong. So I think whatever it is that's stopping him from going on this trip, his pride is so high that he can't even just be honest with her. So I think that's why she keeps probing and prying and trying to get this trip out of him because he won't just tell her the truth. I'm sure I can't with you, Shindy. But yeah, yeah, I don't know with them two. They both hike, not them both, more Rachel. She just, her voice, I just think she has this whole facade that she's putting on the show. So I can hardly watch her or pay attention to her. But yeah, that's all I got from him.
Yeah, I agree. Her voice does get on me some my nerves sometimes too, but she keeps saying that travel is important to me. Getting out of and yeah, and the fact that he keeps rebutting her with this local travel,
I think it might be finances, and like someone said, like how much does he think these trips are going to be?
right?
Because the fact that you keep saying road trips and then you say Vegas, and I'm like,
But see,
maybe it
and that's the
is just
thing.
a
He has
fear
never
like
even
that. Like,
traveled.
yeah,
He couldn't. He doesn't even know to do the research. Because honestly, if you buy a ticket now for a year and a half later, that's saving money. You have the time to, but he won't even think of a way to give her a way to, well, maybe we can do it like this, or there's other ways that you can travel abroad. You can like listen anyway.
I agree. Let's
Let's
get
go.
in to Merla and Gil Child. No, do I need to put my mask back on?
Put the mask
I
on for
don't
the dust.
know.
Listen. Woo.
Woo.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gil, Gil, you're driving me nuts. Gil, there's so much. Okay, and I honestly, I'm gonna say something. His conversation with his mother. Okay, so his conversation with his mother. I like his mother. His mother was like, "You guys communicate, right? You guys talk. You guys, he's like, we communicate great." But we're always talking, we're always getting to know, we're always talking and everything. And she's like, well, you need to keep this communication up. But my thing is, Gil, he said one, and this is something we found out months ago, that he's just been a firefighter for 6 months. There's two things. There's two things actually. I'm sorry. Let me get my thoughts together. Mirla said, I that's not what I wanted. I wanted somebody that was established in their career. I
Right.
think that both of them did not get what they wanted. So Miller wanted somebody that was established in their career. He's doing stuff that he should have been doing 10 years ago at 25, and now he's 35. That's one. Gil said that he's wanted somebody that was low maintenance. That is not Mirla. That is not, and I'm not even talking about, like, yeah, and she's very vocal about the fact that she's the one that's moody. So both of them did not get what they wanted. I'm gonna start there. That's not what they asked for, but that's what they got. I don't like that he's constantly berating her, and he's constantly has having this uh he has this mindset that just because she spends, or just because she wears her wealth and material things, that means that she is not looking at her past. That means that she's not taking account where she came from. That is absolutely not true. And I also believe that he also, just because she's not doing it his way, doesn't mean that she's doing it wrong. Just doesn't mean that she's wrong, and doesn't mean that you can talk to her any kind of way. That's two. Three. uh your money story and her money story are the same. You guys came from nothing, but because that, so that motivates her, whereas you are not there yet. Now, Gil, if you are going to be the one that, if she's going to be paying some of these bills, you have no leg to stand on in telling her what shoes she can buy. I have a good friend that, with her ex, she had to pay some money, and when he came home and he saw 3 boxes of shoes, he couldn't speak. He tried to say something. She was like, "Do I owe you something?" And he couldn't say anything because she paid her bills. So for me, Gil, one, stop talking to her like that. And this is another thing. She keeps saying how patient he is. Honestly, I don't know that this is patient. He's been patient with not, um and we're gonna find out that they consummated. uh he's not pushing her as far as, I guess, like she's the one that kissed him, but he did say constantly, if we haven't kissed before the end, then I want a divorce. But he has, I don't know what she means by he has been patient, because he's been very vocal about the fact that you're kind of always, bratty or have an attitude or this, that, and the other. He has spoken up about it. So to me, I'm like, I don't know if that's patient to me. That's not, and I appreciate the fact that she's like, I received that, but I disagree with you. This motivates me. Because I know where I came from, this motivates me. And see, just because he's not doing it the way you want her to, because she's wearing her wealth, doesn't mean that she's doing it wrong. And the fact that you keep harping on it, that makes you look insecure. I'm gonna be honest with you, because nobody else well, people have said something about it, like she'll volunteer and she'll go to the soup kitchen in her red bottoms. That was all throughout the whole wedding. That was throughout the whole wedding, that's her. But you got to stop harping on it. And it's just, um it's really showing your insecurities. Like I was saying, at one of the infilters, he was wearing Gucci high tops. He was wearing Gucci shoes. So you do spend, but he looks at her spending as something outlandish, and it's not. It's really not. So I'm sure I have more, but go ahead.
There was so, first of all, let me state Gil is back on my bad side this episode. Like I said, I don't like Gil, but I did like Gil and Merla together in previous episodes. This episode, no. I was back on my Gil is a dusty train because there were so many different things it just showed his insecurity. And for me, Dusty is not about his job. Like people are like, how is a firefighter dusty? It's not about his occupation. It's not even about how much he makes. It's his mentality. It's like not giving her the treatment she deserves. So for me, it's like but yeah, so where do I begin? First of all, when I want to talk about that skating rink. When they're at that skating rink, they just had this great time, and then here comes Gil, and she says, well, she makes a comment like, oh, you'll do anything for me, and he says no, because beauty fades. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like that has nothing to do with anything. And I think it just goes to show there's certain men that can't handle a woman being more successful than him. And here's the matter of fact, they had the same, some like sort of environment growing up. Their fathers died. They were both poor. They both struggled, but Mirla made it to a certain level. She wasn't this princess who rolled over in her castle and just laid down her hair out the window like Rapunzel. No, she went to school. She did a lot of things to get to where she is now. So I don't understand the whole princess and calling her selfish. Like, how are you gonna and find out all them people? How and I really just wanted Merla. I was like, Merla, if you're not gonna go off on him, let me go off on him. Because I could see her at that skating rink tapping her foot. That girl was ready to fight. She was pissed. But she could she held herself, and I think she holds a lot back during filming because of her career. She doesn't want to jeopardize her career by being this ratchet woman on TV. I understand that. But Gil, you're trying it. And for him to get in front of all those people and call her selfish because she doesn't want to stop spending on high end things, how dare you? And then you get on the phone with your mother and say, it's not fair for me to pay bills. What? Because I won't have any money left. And I'm like, and the mama's sitting there agreeing with this mess. And I am like, okay, y'all just a family full of dusties because it just makes no, I don't like the wording. I understand his circumstance. I don't like the wording. It's not fair. Like she is trying to badger you. She has not asked you to pay for anything. She has not asked you to do anything. The things she's complained about were things that the show put on, the show and production set up for them. So it's he just really he got under my skin because I just feel like he's trying to bring her down because he's not at her level, and it's just no. No. I just like she said, him, it's like being with a 25-year-old. He should already be there. Like, have you ever heard of someone becoming a firefighter at 35? And that don't
I
make
haven't,
sense.
and I don't understand. And that's actually one of my questions: is why are you just now becoming a firefighter? Where you wanted to be a personal trainer for years, and now you're doing it? I don't understand that. I don't understand you changing jobs at 30, or picking this job. I do understand having a life change and having to reinvent yourself. I've had to do that, and I've had to do it at late ages. But to do, I don't know. There's just, but that's not. And if that is the case, and that's something you did, why would they pick Gil for her? For her, like that's not for both of them. Are not
They're playing with these people. I
absolutely.
mean, they played all in their face because Merla said over and over, I wanted someone who's established. I'm sure Ryan told them I only date blondes. And I'm sure they've all like I'm sure Jose stressed to them how important his money was to him and how he worked so hard to pay off his debt. Then they give him somebody with over the maxed out credit cards. So it's like I feel like they playing with us again. That's all I'm gonna
You're
say.
playing with us. I totally agree. I totally agree. I'm sorry if I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Oh,
You
you're
can.
fine. Go ahead.
Oh, I just think, yeah, neither of them were each other's ideal, and she's gonna have to. So he said, I can pay all the bills, but then I won't have anything left. And Linda on Maria's channel last night,
First
she
of
was
all,
like,
I think he's lying. I think he's lying. But go
okay,
ahead.
okay, so maybe, and see, this is the thing. This is if he's lying, then to me, he's he's doing the Jose thing. I don't think Jose has a fear of flying. I think Jose has a fear of losing it all. He thinks that all his childhood he worked from a place of lack, so he's afraid that money is gonna fly out of there like water, and it's not. And so if he's lying, then I see, to me, I'm like, if you're a personal trainer and a firefighter, like, you listen, you work 48 hours straight. Those other hours,
5 days.
24 hours. What are you doing? So he needs to figure that out. And I don't know that he can get another job as a firefighter. And
Good
then
for her.
they have to be very selective as to what their other jobs are. I get that. But at the same time, she wanted somebody that's more established. He wanted somebody that's not as high maintenance. That's not what they got at all. Um, I do
I
want
think he was lying. First of all, I want to say he could not pay all those bills. He could not.
to.
He
That's
could
what I
not
thought too.
afford a high rise. He could not afford Marila's lifestyle. And that's
I
exactly
don't.
why she didn't want to be with someone that wasn't on her level. Secondly, he talking about she makes twice as much. No, she make about three or four, five, six, seven, eight
I
more
don't know about that.
times than you.
I don't know about that.
So,
If she
huh?
makes double, I don't know about that. If she makes double and she's like, let's say she's making 120 a year, let's say that,
It's
or
supposed to be double that.
50. So, well, it's supposed to be, or it is. Have you heard? What did you hear
I've
that?
heard that it is that she's around 200K annually and that he's around 40K
There's no
annually.
way. There's no way. That would be like quadruple the amount. Then that would be he can't. He's got to be. He's got to be at least at 60,000. 60,000. So let's okay.
That's not what I heard. Mhm.
So if that's the case, then she's gonna be paying half those bills. Let's say he pays the mortgage and she pays the other stuff, then he can't do then he's not gonna have anything else to pay off or to supplement. There's no way. There's no way. I don't think there's no way that he's making 40. None none of them.
And
Well,
I'm just like, how I'm still in the selfish thing. How are you calling her selfish and you don't even have a savings? She
right.
has a savings. She has the budget to do the things she's doing. So how is she selfish? How does that yeah,
Well, and he could work
I
at Target.
can't.
He could work somewhere else to supplement those other things. Like I don't know. He could work somewhere else. I would think he wouldn't want to. I would hope he wouldn't want to work at Target. But there's to me, there's no way. He's like, I could pay those. I could pay all the bills, but then I wouldn't have anything else left. Um, if they're both from a traditional. Now I'm back on to where I was trying to say. They're both from a traditional household. In a traditional household, the father pays everything. He's going to have to um, find a way to get back to that. Or he can't complain when she goes shopping 3 times a year. That's it. He can't complain about it.
Right.
That's it.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as be secure. And because from what we've seen, she hasn't asked of anything of him. And like, I almost forgot when he got on the phone with his mama and said, um, she something about I'm just not going to let her change me, or she better not try and change me, basically saying he's not going to change for her after these last few episodes you've been trying to get her to change.
That's the
So
thing. That's
that
what I was
was
about to
like
say.
a humongous red flag to me. It's like, okay, so what do you get out of that?
He wants her to
you bring
change.
her you bring her down to your level, then what? Like, yeah, I've had enough of him.
I agree. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. And my prediction is that they're not going to last either. If they do say yes on decision day, I don't see this lasting either. Like this whole show, like, yeah, y'all. Wow, we got through this in an hour, y'all. This
Right.
was kind of technically a boring episode because it was kind of just a recap of stuff, but it was a trip too. It was still a trip. Um, thank you guys for joining us this next week. This next month I'm going to be doing 3 men's panels, and I got something else fun, but I don't have a date yet for you guys. check out the trailer is up for Unwelcome to the Neighborhood, and next is the pilot. So we're trying getting money to shoot the pilot. Um, thank you. Please uh subscribe to Crystal Lynette on YouTube. Go ahead, Misha.
Yes, thank y'all so much for sticking with us tonight through the shenanigans. Tomorrow we have CMK After Dark or CMK Ladies Lounge. Child, I forgot. But we will have our Ladies Lounge tomorrow night with Miss Kia Simone. We'll be talking about age ain't nothing but a number. So does age matter in your relationships? And Sunday, me and Crystal will be doing our Ready to Love live, and Saturday I'll be on Kamisha Reviews. So for her Ready to Love live.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's about
Yeah.
it. But thank y'all and good night.
Thank you guys. Good night.